Hey guys, what's going on? Steve back again, and I'm back with another 40k video from Major Kill. And the topic for today's video is, what was each Primarch's opinion on Xenos? Very interesting. So I am sure there are some that are maybe friendly, diplomatic towards them. Some that are probably opening to working with them to face, say, a bigger threat. Some might just be, I don't like them, I don't hate them, just doing my duty, following orders. Then I'm sure there are some that hate them, and then there are some that are, all right, we gotta erase them from existence. Now, as to who fits in each one of those boxes, I have no idea. If I had to guess, obviously I would say Gilliman, diplomatic, because he seems like a diplomat. Xenos did bring him back. Oh God. I would say Dorn would be just following orders, just doing my duty. Don't like him, don't hate him. Oh God, this is tough. I want to say Sanguinius would be opening to working with them to, say, fight a bigger threat, because I think something like that happened before, where Blood Angels were fighting against another Xenos race, but then a bigger threat came in, and they ended up working together to obviously fight the bigger threat. I don't remember who they were fighting and who the bigger threat was, if it was orcs or nids or something like that. So I want to say that. Oh God, this is tough. The Lion, I'm kind of torn on that one. I would probably say hates them, but since he is a really good duelist, I could see him respecting whoever he was, fighting against one-on-one. So if he was fighting like the enemy commander and he put up a, really good fight against him, I want to say I could see him being like, all right, respect, he put up a good fight, well done. I also want to say, since he is a good strategist, that he would also be opening to working with them to once again take on whatever the bigger threat is, because it would seem like that would be a very smart strategy. If Dark Angels are fighting against Eldar and all of a sudden High Fleet Leviathan comes flying in, it seems like it would be a smart choice to be like, hey, we should team up to take out bigger threat, because they don't care who they're coming after. The Nids are going to come after both of us. They're probably going to split their army, half against us, half against you. Whoever gets wiped out, then that other half of the army is going to come after them, and it's just not going to end well. So it seems like it would be in our best interest to work together. God, other than that, I have no idea who else would fit into those other boxes. But that's just my guess. Chances are I'm probably wrong. I think the only one I got right is Gilliman. That's probably the only one I got right. But we'll have to find out, see if maybe I was close. So here we go. Let's get on to the video and find out. Here we go.
G'day guys and gal. It's no secret that the setting of 40k isn't exactly a tolerant one. Even the Tau Empire, the most Star Trek-esque inclusive faction, has an entire chunk of its military that are obsessed with genociding the non-Tau members of the Empire. The Primarchs killed a shizen load of alien civilizations, driving hundreds if not thousands of them into extinction. Many of them deserve that fate as they were malicious predatory things, but many others did not. Whilst all Primarchs killed their fair share, some were much more ruthless about it, whilst others actively engaged in diplomacy with the Xenos, hoping to avoid violent bloodshed. It's interesting to see the diverse
think.
opinions of the Primarchs in handling the non-human residents of the galaxy. Before we get started, keeping yourself groomed is important, guys. From your scalp to your balls, you need to be keeping things tidy. After all, male grooming and manscaping is considered to be one of the most essential things women are looking for in a partner. So I'm very happy to once again partner up with Manscaped today to bring you the most convenient, easy to use grooming tools with none of the rashes,
really cool
nips, or other
statue in the
grooming
back.
fates that male grooming can often bring about.
That is a
Their
huge
latest product
statue.
and my new personal favorite is the Handyman. It's an extremely portable, easy to use shaver that gives you that close crop cut on either your neck or your face without having to use a razor or other rash inducing devices. It doesn't even need shaving cream. I'm currently in Europe and one of the main things I brought with me was the Handyman for upstairs, with the Lawnmower 4.0 being for downstairs, meaning I can stay just as fresh on
I really want
holidays
to see
or
that giant
at home.
statue in the back
Alongside
he's
the
got,
Handyman,
because that thing looks
Manscaped also
awesome.
offers the Plow 2.0 for when you want that razor sharp clean cut, various washes and deodorants to keep you smelling your best, and more. Available individually or in various value bundles. The best part is that by using my link and code MAJORKILL, you'll get 20% off any and all Manscaped products as well as free international shipping. Cheers to Manscaped for sponsoring this video. Today we'll go over what each Primarch thought of the different Xenos, especially the ones they could engage in diplomacy with, drawing examples from the lore in doing so. Let's get into it.
Okay, let's see if I'm right on any of them.
Starting with the Lion, because the Lord of the First is always first.
Of course.
The Lion was incredibly duty-bound. He didn't get a hard-on from genociding Xenos, but he also didn't hesitate if that's what he needed to do. In saying that, the Lion was very rarely used against diplomatic Xeno races. Instead, he fought the Crave, a horrific psychic Xeno race of mind-controlling parasites that have existed since the dawn of the galaxy.
Crave?
Or the Rungdung, a Xeno empire so powerful it almost broke the Imperium.
Gotta learn
for
about
him, there was
them.
no issue with those exterminations. The Lion also happily engaged with and hung out with the Watchers in the Dark, a Xeno race themselves, whilst he has reflected in the current setting that maybe mankind's xenocidal tendencies were a mistake and that they should
That's
have
true, I
tried to
forgot about the
cooperate more
Watchers.
to avoid their current shitty predicament with the galaxy having its asshole torn open. The second Primarch's opinion on Xenos is worth just as much as a TikTok account with 1 million followers.
Okay, so the Lion
Fucking
is just
nothing.
duty-bound.
Fulgrim was an interesting one. As a non-corrupted Chad, he did what he needed to do, but definitely wasn't xenocidal. In saying that, he did attack the Leia with extreme prejudice, despite the Imperium being open to incorporating them as a Xeno vassal due to their world's impressive technologies. When the Leia Blade begun corrupting him, he still didn't become this mega Xeno hater. When he discovered some Eldar maiden worlds, he declared them so beautiful that the Imperium would not claim them. He even engaged in initially peaceful diplomacy with the Eldar who arrived on the planet, including Eldrad. However, when Eldrad discovered Fulgrim was corrupted, the meeting turned sour. The two sides fought, and then Fulgrim virus bombed the maiden world out of spite. So I wouldn't exactly say he was a particularly tolerant guy, but he did have some serious issues, and there are other Primarchs who hate Xenos way more than he did. We don't
Until
get to
the
see much in the way
corruption.
of Perturaba's opinion of Xenos, but I can't imagine it would have been particularly strong either way. Olympia was a human world without Xeno raiders or Xeno taint, so he wouldn't have held a personal grudge. In the similar vein to the Lion, Perty was sent against the most deadly and powerful hostile human or Xeno worlds, so any Xeno civilization he genocided would have had it coming. He was happy enough to put up with an Eldar guide during the events of Angel Exterminatus. However, as soon as he realized the Eldar guide didn't actually know what the fuck he was doing, he broke its neck, but more so because he was useless rather than because he was an Eldar. Which
Okay,
is an
so he's
example that
duty-bound
sums up
too.
Perty quite nicely. Jagadai loves killing orcs. He fucking loves it. Jagadai was so good at killing orcs that orcs actually stopped enjoying fighting him. Probably something to do with Jagadai needing to blow off some steam, knowing that he was being a hypocrite for serving the Emperor. A man who went against everything Jagadai believed in, but who he couldn't disagree with, otherwise he would get squashed. Jagadai was last seen entering the Webway, chasing some Dark Eldar. So there's every chance that he's spent the last 10,000 years having orgies and racing jet bikes, likely improving his opinion of Xenos. More than likely, he is currently Sir Gorach's prisoner, which would have the opposite effect. Rust and Xenos are not a pleasant combo. Rust was known to be extremely vicious and more than happy to exterminate any and all aliens who crossed his path.
Okay, so
After
yeah,
all,
I
you should
figured
see
he
the
would
shit
hate
he did
them.
to human worlds. Fortunately for diplomatic Xenos, Rust was often sent after the juiciest, most hostile meat. So while he definitely genocided a Xeno culture here and there that he probably didn't have to, most of his wrath was directed towards Xenos that deserved it. I did read somewhere that Rust and his
okay.
legion destroyed a craft world. However, I don't know for certain if that is
Interesting.
true, but it wouldn't surprise me in the slightest. Rogel Dawn was a straightforward, pragmatic man. He would always analyze situations before engaging in them. Whilst these walls and guns would have destroyed a shitload of Xenos during the Great Crusade, he didn't really come across as a xenocidal maniac. As much as he would be loath to admit it, Dawn would have a very similar attitude to Perturabo. All hostile Xenos were to be destroyed,
Didn't
non-hostile
like him,
Xenos
didn't
were to be
hate him.
contained, analysed and potentially
Doing my
spared,
duty.
or maybe genocided. Bit of a coin flip sometimes. The Night Lords were sadistic enough when it came to human civilization, so imagine how bad they were to Xenos. Night Lords would torture and genocide any Xeno civilization they encountered,
Makes
hostile
sense.
or not. When a joint campaign of the Night Lords and Salamanders against the human and Eldar world took place, various Eldar were captured. However, they escaped, maybe via the Night Lords releasing them, prompting the Night Lords to open fire on the Eldar who were running through a human crowd. Mass reactive explosive shells fired into a crowd by sadistic super soldiers is not a fun time for anyone. Hence a shitload of people died, as did the Eldar, which pretty much summarizes the Night Lord's view on Xenos.
Yep.
Sanguinius had a pretty level-headed approach to Xenos. He actively wished Xenos and humanity could coexist peacefully, but he wasn't naive about it. Sanguinius was involved in the purging of numerous hyper-hostile aliens, a purging he did with extreme prejudice. The mega arachnids on murder, the mind-controlling Nephilim, saying he was happy to deliver them the Nick Cage slap of God. However, he was also just as happy to talk with non-hostile Xenos. He engaged with diplomacy with the Interrex alongside Horus, a human Xeno civilization. Even the Silent King claims that he and Sanguinius were friends, although he could have been lying about that. Overall, chat to the friendlies, kill the meanies was his policy, and a pretty good one at that. On the flip side, Ferris did not want a bar of any Xeno. He would kill any and all Xenos he encountered. When the
I warned
Elder
against
tried
that
to warn
about
him of the
Sanguinius.
heresy, he was basically too stubborn to listen and tried to kill them. When his fleet encountered the Diasporex, a fleet-based culture of humans and aliens living together, he basically said to the humans, either kill your Xeno comrades or we will kill you all. Despite how diplomatic the Diasporex were, and their many attempts to get Ferris to fuck off. Probably the least shocking opinion on this list. Even a 4-year-old dropped on their head would know that Ferris was xenophobic as fuck. The 11th Primarch probably liked Xenos too much, hence why he is now dead and deleted from the setting. Angron was a similar vibe to Ferris. Kill first and don't ask questions ever. The first thing he experienced in life was getting attacked by an Eldar kill team, so that would have helped with his opinion of them.
Yeah, that
In saying
definitely would have
Angron was known to kill everyone and everything.
pushed him in a
So
certain
maybe
direction.
He didn't hold any prejudice towards them, he just frothed killing all the time. Gilliman's opinion on Xenos has evolved over time. It was pretty close to what Sanguinius thought, but a bit harsher. He was happy to accept Xeno client states, but they had to be very much on the side of completely harmless / kind of useful. In saying that, Gilliman's adaptability meant that his opinion of Xenos has improved over time. He used the Pharos device, a Xeno artifact, during the heresy, and upon waking up from his 10,000-year nap, was an ally of the Inari and actively worked to cease hostilities between the Imperium and the Eldar. Gilliman would go on to reflect that perhaps mankind should have been more tolerant of Xeno empires, as if they had worked together instead of fought, then maybe the real issues, like chaos, could have been beaten. In saying that, he wouldn't blink to kill a Necron, Tyranid, Orc, or Dark Eldar.
Okay, so his stance has changed over the years.
Didn't have any issues with massacring Xeno empires or cultures, regardless of their hostility status. They weren't exactly known as the most compassionate or diplomatic of legions. Mortarian's adoptive father also appeared to be some kind of necromantic Xeno overlord. With Morty hating the shit out of his father, I can imagine that prejudice would have stayed with him. After all, he hated Psychers because of his father, so he probably would have hated Xenos as well. Morty also faced off against some pretty gnarly Xenos, including an enslaver at different times during the heresy, so I can comfortably say he wasn't a big fan. On the flip side, Magnus was actually considered to be the most tolerant and accepting of Xenos out of all the Primarchs, even including Sanguinius.
Really?
He believed that all life had value and that there was always knowledge to gain. As
I guess I can
Magnus
see
never
that.
fired first, always seeking diplomacy so that knowledge could be shared. He would even try to become initially hostile Xenos.
Okay, that makes
This only really
sense.
extended to sentient races though. Vicious alien fauna were fair game when it came to cum blasting them with psychic energy. It's stuff like this that makes Magnus's fall the saddest. Dude was a kind, caring, and compassionate man who just
'Cause he
wanted
was
to
the
do
most
the right
open to
thing.
working
His
with
home
them.
of Prospero was an absolute paradise, and if the Imperium had adopted his policy towards Xenos, then more than likely the setting would be a lot less fucked. Now for Horus. Despite being War Master, Horus was actually very open to Xeno diplomacy. He started off a bit more vicious, but as time went on, he felt as if the Emperor's harsh anti-Xeno policies were flawed. When he encountered the Interrex, a culture of humans living alongside Xenos, he was incredibly respectful and worked hard to establish diplomatic relations. Unfortunately,
Really?
Erebus ruined it by stealing a special knife from the Interrex, which caused them to think that Horus and his warriors were agents of chaos. Thus, a
And
war
there
broke
it
out between the
begins.
two factions. Horus was really upset about the breakdown of diplomacy, and often reflected on what he could have done different. However, as soon as Horus was corrupted, he stopped giving a fuck about Xenos, as he purely focused on the war against his father. Also, his track record prior to the Interrex isn't great, with him once attacking a Xeno world that was so anti-war that they gathered in Colosseums to fight their wars gladiator style, awaiting the Lunar Wolves to come down and fight them with honor in the arena.
That's kinda
Horus simply
interesting.
said Lamau and orbitally bombed the Colosseums. Lorgar also had an interesting view on Xenos. When he encountered the Eldar, Lorgar spent quite a bit of time communicating with with them, learning their language and culture. However, due to his own fanaticism as well as the Eldar being rude to him, the relations broke down and he ended up destroying a minor craft world. Later on, he would go on to write extremely anti-Xeno shit in his book of Lorgar, advocating for the annihilation of everything that wasn't a human, so that took a pretty gnarly turn for the worst.
Yeah,
Vulcan
it did.
definitely
Just a
started
little
off
bit.
pretty anti-Xeno. His homeworld was regularly raided by Dark Eldar, so that was his first experience with them. On Caldera, when the Night Lords and Salamanders fought against an Eldar human world, he was initially pretty merciful. However, when the Night Lords fired upon the escaping Eldar, one of his human friends was hit and killed. In a fit of rage, Vulcan incinerated an Eldar child who had surrendered to him. Vulcan would go on to regret this, however, and vowed not to barbecue children anymore. He would go on to work with Eldrad in order to get back to Terra and help with the siege, so he definitely ended up with a positive attitude change. We don't really get to see much Corvus on Xeno action, but he will probably deal with it how he deals with everything else. Brooding, cranky, and then maybe cutting their head off. Corvus was a part of a very specialized legion, not the one they would call to engage in diplomacy with a bunch of aliens. So whilst I don't imagine him being overly xenocidal, I don't think he would be that friendly. Alpharius and Megon were very open-minded to things, probably too open-minded to be honest, as not only did they happily meet with the Cabal, an organization of Super Xenos, but Alpharius totally believed the Cabal's vision and then betrayed the Emperor in order to try fulfill a prophecy that would see mankind extinct and Xenos rise to reclaim the galaxy. Not something you'd do if you hated Xenos. In saying that though, the brothers didn't respect Xenos, ditching their Cabal representative and initially holding the Cabal at gunpoint during their first meeting. Just like everything to Alpharius, Xenos are a tool to be used and then disposed of when their use has ended. If you enjoy the video and you want to support the channel, then Patreon is the place to be, where we have much more tolerance for Xenos in both nude cosplay and artwork form. Hit the subscribe button and hit the real subscribe button for more Xeno love and content. Join the Discord for more memes and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.
Okay, so there we go. There is each Primarch's stand or opinion on Xenos. So some of them were pretty like neutral, just doing my duty. Dorn was pretty much no surprise. The Lion kind of should have saw that one coming. And then some of them, you know, had their stances change over time. And then you also got like the ones who were, you know, different things happened to them, you know, from like a young age, whether, you know, like Batarian and his father and stuff like that, or, you know, their home planet was attacked when they were younger. So of course that just kind of, you know, stuck with them. Like, hey, Dark Eldar raided our home planet and stuff like that when I was younger. Now you just have this grown hatred towards them, so it's kind of like always pretty much been there since a young age. Sanguinius, yeah, I think I got that one pretty close. Magnus, I didn't even think of that one, that he was so open, so tolerant with Xenos, you know, sharing knowledge and stuff like that. Horus, I want to say not really surprised. Yeah, not really surprised by Horus, you know, until the corruption. Yeah, so, yeah, it seems like a lot of them were just either very neutral, duty-bound, or there was some sort of, you know, early age trauma that just stuck with them and it just carried with them, you know, through the years, you know, and then some that just changed their stances over time. And then there was like a couple that were just like, yep, just full on hate them. That's it, gotta die. So yeah, yeah, that's pretty much it. But yeah, not sure what else really to say. I think I was on a couple of them, but that's pretty much their opinion on Xenos. Just either neutral, some hate them, and some just stance have changed throughout all the years. You know, so it is what it is. But yeah, I think I got Dorn and Gilliman right. I think I was pretty close on Sanguinius as well. The Lion, I guess you can say I was kind of off on, but it is what it is. So anyways, there we go. There is the video. There is each Primarch's opinion on Xenos. So let me know, what do you guys think? Yeah, I'm not even sure what to tell you to comment on. Yeah, I don't know. Usually I say like, well, let me know what you guys think about this, or let me know what you think about that. But I don't know what to let you guys let me know on. Yeah, I'm just at a loss for words on this video. But yeah, so there we go. Just leave me all your thoughts and comments anyways, so I can read them. Other than that, yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, hit that thumbs up button. That'd be awesome. Remember, feel free to subscribe to my channel. Follow me on social media. Links in the description box below. Come join me over on Discord. We can talk more 40k, suggest videos for me to watch and stuff like that. Post pictures of models you're building, painting, converting, things like that, because that'd be really cool to see. And other than that, yeah, just stick around. More videos are on the way. And I will see you guys next time.